with y'all with T. I'm your host, Miss T. So let's get right into it. By the way, before I actually get into it, thank you for subscribing, liking the video, sharing, because sharing is caring. Let's get into it. Okay. I'm happy to be back. Yes, with another episode. Okay. Now, today's episode is entitled The Only Woman in the Room. All right. Now, this particular topic was inspired by Miss Angela Yee and her experiences at the Breakfast Club. Okay? All right. So, before I actually get into Angela Yee and her comments and her experiences that she shared on the Tamron Hall show, I just want to say that being the only woman in the room is something that is a topic, is hot, and it's happening, and it happens in a lot of industries. It could be whether it be medical, business, corporate boardroom, education, you name it. There's plenty of spaces and places where we're the only woman in the room, and being the only woman in the room is different. Sometimes it can be a result of, you can have negative experiences from being the only woman in the room. So anyway, let's get into that. But I just wanted to mention that also, a lot of times, just it's kind of speaking from experience, being a woman, okay, and being, speaking from experience. So normally what happens, and I don't think a lot of our counterparts understand, I'm not saying all, but a lot of them probably don't understand that normally when you're the only woman in the room, you're under a lot of pressure. I think so, especially in the workplace. You tend to be under more pressure. You're more guarded. You're more isolated, okay? And I think these are the things kind of like what Angela Yee is trying to say, or when she's speaking to Tamron Hall, okay? And it seems like there's just more, and seems like there's more pressure for us to perform. We have to perform twice as hard than our counterparts would to yield the same results. I hope that makes sense, right? Whether that be in pay, recognition, promotion, we normally have to go even harder to prove ourselves. Not in all environments, but in quite a few. Okay. So let's get into. On that note, let's get into and break down what Angela Yee shared with Tamron Hall about her experiences at the Breakfast Club. All right. So basically, before I get just a little backdrop, Angela Yee used to be a part of the Breakfast Club as one of the radio hosts. Okay. She shared her time with Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy, okay? And they've been around for quite a bit of time. But as of last year, I believe in December, she announced she was leaving and getting her own radio show. Well, kudos to her for that. And she did, okay? So she's doing well there. And she has other endeavors that she's been working on. She owns several properties, owns several businesses, and I know she has another podcast. So she's been doing her thing. And again, kudos to her for being a success in her own right, okay? All right, so moving on. The interview with Miss Tamron Hall. Let's get into that. That's what we're talking about, okay? So into this article that was written by Yahoo Entertainment. Okay, all right. So let's get into it. This is what Miss Yee had to say. She was speaking again to Miss Tamron Hall. Let's go. It says, I was the only woman who worked there, too. I mean, when it came to producers, camera people, and it wasn't an easy room for me to be in, right? And then she goes on to say, I feel like I did need more like backup, because even things that I felt as a woman, somebody can't understand your point of view because you're not coming from where you come from. So that was hard for me too, to be the only woman there. That's what she said, okay? And again, it goes back to me saying being the only woman in the room, okay? All right. But anyway, so she says that, this is how she felt as a woman. That's how she felt, okay? And she shared that. But then I also want to share what DJ Envy had to say. This is what DJ Envy had to say after she shared that. Who obviously hosted Breakfast Club along with Yee and Charlamagne the God, right? This is his response. First of all, he insisted that Yee's comments were just not true and claimed there are plenty of women that work behind the scenes of the Breakfast Club. All right. I don't think that's what she was kind of saying. I think she was saying in the room, like on the actual. But anyway, moving on. This is what he had to say. That's kind of, he just basically, he basically, I mean, so many words, he just decided that her comments and how she felt was invalid is basically what I understood. Okay, I mean, if she felt that way, then she felt that way. Okay, but let's get into a little bit more of this article. Because she goes on to say, sometimes I feel like I got it harder than Charlamagne the God did for some things that he said. That's what Yee said, okay? And so also I wanted to make it clear we're all three individuals. You say what you say. I feel how you feel, and I do too. But it's hard because people affiliate you with the whole group. I definitely agree with her on that. Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. So whatever group you're with, people tend to affiliate you with that. Like if you're on a sports team or whatever, they're going to put you in that, lump you in that as part of that, and that you, as a whole. They're going to look at you as a whole and not as an individual, basically. But nevertheless, then the thing about it is Angela Yee was sharing her comments and how she felt about being the only one in the room. And I would say this, and then so basically her old counterpart came back. So first DJ Envy came back and he said, "Hey, no, that's not how it was." Okay, even though this is what Angela just said how she felt. But then Little Mama came. Little Mama came back and this is what she said. Little Mama came back and she had her 2 3 cents and she goes, "Oh, please." She was up there playing foul games too. She has helped make multiple women, and she says of color especially, feel like the only woman in the room numerous of times. I was like, ooh. So that's a whole nother subject. Yee has yet to publicly respond to Envy and Little Mama's comments, okay? But nevertheless, let's get into that and finish to wrap this up. So anyway, again, that's that. That's the gist of it all. But basically, Angela just felt like she was. I feel like she. Now I'm only going by what she said. Okay, I'm interpreting. It seems like she's basically saying she felt isolated and like almost. I'm not gonna say she said the word picked on, but you know, just because she was the only woman, she felt some type of way. So anyway, that's kind of what I got out of that. But she's not the only woman. Again, like I said when I first started, as women, we work in being the only woman in the room with our counterparts. It can be at times whether it's intimidating, whether it's more stressful because you're having to try to prove yourself and this, that, and the third. Or sometimes we have a lot of it can be where sometimes women voices are muffled, if that makes sense, right? Or we can't speak out or speak truthfully without being slammed or told to be quiet, or so that can happen. I don't know if that happened in this case. I'm only going by what she said, as Angela Yee shared with us. That's just what she said. But I will say this: if she felt that way, then so that's what it was for her. Period. Okay. And anyway, let me know what you think about this whole debacle, this whole thing. This is, like I said, it's been going on for a while now. But Angela has moved on um, to new endeavors, and again, kudos to her for that. And everybody just feels some type of way. But let me know what you think. Okay, do you think that she was maybe treated different because she was the only woman in the room? And if you think that, let me know how so. Okay? All right. As I always say, we can't change anyone else. Only focus on the things you can control and not on the things you can't. I'll be back with another one. Thank you for listening. Bye.